Hi, Scott.
Sorry for the rant earlier.
It was okay. I was just checking. I was, it's all right.
All right, Fred, I think we're good. Let's go ahead and get started.
Okay, good evening, everyone.
Hi, Fred.
Hi, Joey, and everyone else. First item we have is our bids that we received for life insurance. Can you all hear me okay?
Yep.
Yes, we can.
Okay, so we sent this out to the 3 insurance companies here in Newville: Shoemakers Insurance, John Wolf, and Jeffrey Bowder. And we received proposals from Shoemakers. Kansas City Life Insurance was $2,376, and they will lock their price for 3 years. It's an A-rated company. Principal Life Insurance gave a bid of $2,440.80 a year, and they will lock for 24 months. They are A-plus rated. John Wolf Insurance stayed with Boston Mutual. John's been providing us the coverage with Boston Mutual now for many years. Their price is $2,736, and they quoted for 1 year. It's an A-rated company. Actually, we never had a problem with any claims with Boston Mutual. Jeff Bowder gave 3 bids. Mutual of Omaha, $2,592 a year, and that's good for 1 year. That is an A-plus rated company. He sent me an email later today and clarified the ratings. All of his companies are A-plus. Principal Insurance is $2,217.60, and that's a 1 year quote, A-plus rated. Hartford Insurance, $2,196. It's a 1 year quote, also A-plus. It appears the best option for council to consider is Kansas City Life, which has the annual premium of $2,376. The reason for this, even though it may be higher than some of the others, it is guaranteed for 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll have a savings in that respect, plus you'll have good numbers to budget for 3 years. After discussing this with Mr. Crouch, it's our recommendation that whatever program you select, that we go with a single payment and make just one payment for the insurance coverage so it's taken care of for the year. I'd also like to point out that not all of this will be paid by the borough. I would say an estimate would be that water and sewer would be putting in somewhere around $500 to $600 for their employees. Currently, we have $10,000 coverage for 8 of our employees, and we have $50,000 coverage for the other employees, the police officers. So right now, on the $10,000 worth of coverage, we're paying $652.80 a year, plus we're paying an additional amount for the premiums for the police officers, and those are through PCI insurance. So overall, you're going to get better coverage. It's going to be uniform, and it's probably going to be, the best option to go with Shoemakers because they're going to lock in that price.
Okay.
And we
Makes
will
sense
be
to
able
me.
to keep the business in town. And John Wolf will still have Boston Mutual for disability and accident insurance.
Okay. That
Any
sounds good to
questions
me.
on the insurance proposals? If not, tonight we'll be making a recommendation to go with Shoemakers. Well, we're on the subject of insurance. Last week, I received a request from Brown & Brown. It's time to start the insurance renewal. and our coverage doesn't lapse until June 1st. But you know, we always try to get everything in order so that we can meet with the agent in May. And so they've sent me everything that I have to work on. There's a lot of data we have to get together for the renewal. We do this every year. It's nothing new. The question, however, comes up to council. If you recall, and Joey and Scott, I think you would both recall this, when we went with Brown & Brown a couple of years ago, we decided to give them 2 years to act as broker of record, meaning we did not go out for bid. I think they have given us very good coverage. Claims that we've had have been paid promptly. Their customer service is excellent. I would recommend that we continue them as broker of record for 1 more year, or even 2 years. It's up to council. But I think it's worked out pretty well for us. And that's just something to consider tonight. I know Mike's going to bring it up under administration, so I'll just give you a heads up. You know, we're going to talk about that tonight as well. In your meeting packet was a proposal that was put out to you some time ago for the Gaga Ball pit. And the Eagle Scout had looked at a couple companies, and he took a price from Coach Cliff's Gaga Ball company. And trying to find the total price is $2,640.10, which, as I understand it, is the court, the structural material, everything except the base and the installation. So Harry Spielman is our Eagle Scout. He would be overseeing the project with the help of other scouts from Troop 174. My recommendation would be to go with this product that he has spec'd out here. You can see there's some photographs. It's very nice. The only thing is I would wait and order it in April so that we have tax money and funds to pay for it. And I think he was looking at maybe getting Valley Quarries to donate. I've heard a couple of things. I've heard a stone base or a kind of, what is it, Scott? They used to use it on tracks.
Like stone dust.
Stone dust.
Yeah.
And then I heard that they might be looking at that crushed rubber to put down inside of it. But if they put the crushed rubber, then you're going to have to put a stone base for it to drain. So
Right.
we would have that in addition. And I don't think that that would be the only additional cost here. So I did talk to the Eagle Scout and his father, about a month ago. And they're still on track for the project. They would like to do it and get it done as early as possible in the spring because of his timing requirements for the Scout project. Does anyone have any questions on?
I don't have any.
In his proposal, he had done some research, and this is a very nice unit that, if added to our park, I don't know if there are any around, if the council members know of any other ones. I thought there was one down at Shippensburg Township that I looked at last year, but they're very popular from what I hear and from what he has told me. So if we're inclined to do this, we could approve it tonight with a purchase to be made in April, and also to authorize Scott as council president to sign all of the documents for the Eagle Scout to move forward. Does anyone have any questions?
I don't have a problem with it. Go ahead, Scott. What were you going to say?
I just was gonna say, is he responsible for funding or fundraising some of this money?
Yeah, he was talking to Valley Quarries or Pensy about the aggregates, and I think that's all going to be donated, or he was trying to get that donated.
Okay. I just wasn't sure if we had to commit to the 2,400 or if it 2640, or if it needed to be something different.
I don't know if he's done any fundraising. That didn't come up, but we can certainly ask him. But we would have the funds to do this year in our recreation budget. It's just it's the timing of things.
Right.
I hate to be a broken record. You all know.
Right.
January, February, March, April, May, June, July are our good months. So.
Fred, I have a question on this estimate that we have. It was dated from September 4th, 2020, and it expired January 31st. Do we know if these fees are still correct?
We would have to go back and make sure that, your shipping costs might be going up now because fuel prices have started to go back.
Okay.
That would be, we can certainly go back and I can confirm that, before our work session on Tuesday night.
Okay.
I doubt that, most of this, Joey, steel is expensive, steel costs.
Right.
But most of this is lumber, it's wood.
Right.
So I would say, if anything, it would be, whatever the steel plating might be. But I think this is all sold as a package.
Okay.
Probably your biggest area for increase might be in shipping.
Okay. I was just curious. I just noticed the dates.
That's a good question. Anything else on the Gaga Ball?
I have nothing.
No.
Okay, at the last meeting, if you recall, Chief Kosher participated, and we had a lengthy discussion on replacing our police car. We have a patrol car now that's a 2013 model. As the chief pointed out, it's overdue for replacement. So we asked the chief to get prices on a new car, which he did. He got a price on a 2021 Ford SUV, an Explorer, just like the two that we have now. The prices that he received, the lowest price was from 911 Rapid Response, $47,199.99, and we have bought our last two patrol cars from that company. I suggested that he contact Kovach Ford up in Nescahoning. Kovach was originally, they're the manufacturers of the fire trucks, and they now go by the trade name of KME. But they do a fair amount of emergency vehicles, and he spec'd out the same vehicle from Kovach, and they offered a price of $49,419.41 with some leasing options for that vehicle as well, which we did not have the leasing options from 911. 911 will not lease. They use Ford Motor Credit. So the leasing options from Community Leasing were for I think he took 3-year, 4-year, and 5-year options. And for a 3-year lease, the full price would be $17,705. For 4 years, it would be $13,526. 5 years would be $11,021.36. I would recommend, this vehicle is going to have a lifespan of at least 5 years, so I would say consider the 5-year lease. If you take the option 2, that would have the borough making a small down payment of $4,500, and the lease options for 3 years would be $16,092, for 4 years $12,294, and for 5 years it drops to $10,1779. Their third option has the borough making a contribution of $9,000, and this reduces the prices. The 3-year lease would be $14,480, 4-year lease $11,062, and a 5-year lease $9,014. So I don't think we can make a decision tonight. Is the chief on?
No, not yet.
Okay, well, I'm going to be very honest with you. There was a time when you could buy a police car and you had a light on the roof and you had your front lights that flashed and your back lights that flashed and you had a radio and a siren, and that was it. There's about 9 pages of things here, and I couldn't even begin to tell you what they are. And I don't mean that with any disrespect, but technology has it controls us today. And I think the chief could tell you a lot more about what this car will have in it and what it does than I could. What I think we need to do at this point is it appears the best price is going to be from 911 Rapid Response. And they've always, our last 2 cars came from them, and they've done a good job. They're over on the other side of Lancaster. The other company's up in Carbon County. So we're a distance away no matter which way we go. I would like to do 2 things. I would like to take the 911 proposal and run it through Ford Motor Credit or another leasing company that the Water and Sewer Authority uses. And I'd also like to send it up to Mid-Penn Bank because we got a pretty good relationship with Mid-Penn. And I think, it doesn't hurt just to ask them for a price on it, what they would do for 5 years, and see what we come up with. My guess is the bank rate, what we got for the tax loan, I think you're probably going to get a better rate, maybe financing it through Mid-Penn. The nice thing with Mid-Penn is, we put the money in the account for the year and they withdraw it and make the payment, and it's over and done with. Does anyone have any objections to taking the 911 quote and getting a lease price from Ford Motor Credit or tax-exempt leasing and also Mid-Penn?
I don't have a problem with shopping around.
No.
And then come back at the next council meeting in March and make a decision.
Now, and this would be a lease, correct? Not a purchase.
Well, what the chief is talking about here is a lease, but the way they're structured, at the end of the lease, when we make our last payment, it's ours. We own the car.
Oh, well, that sounds like a purchase.
That's a purchase.
Okay. I mean, the only advantage to the lease is that, every 5 years, it seems like every 5 years we need to roll those police cars over anyways. And, but what do we pay right now for the current vehicle?
Well, the current vehicle was financed through USDA.
Right.
And remember, when we did that, we actually got some of that in the form of a grant.
Right.
We ended up financing about $32,000. And so our payment is $571 per month.
Okay.
Now,
And there's no way we can do that and use that grant for the other stuff that you have listed here. Is that correct?
Here's what I was thinking. I think we could put it all into one package and send it to USDA. I was thinking to go into USDA for the municipal building system, the telephones, the IT services, the the security cameras, the radio, and emergency generator. It's looking to be a package somewhere around $150,000. Now, if we could get a portion of that written down as a grant, I think that would be the better way to go. We can include everything. We can include the car, but here's the way these projects work with USDA. Last time we went in to USDA and we requested the patrol car, scales, and radio equipment, and they were all police department related items. So it was easy to get it funded because everything was going to the police department. The reason I wanted to keep the municipal building project separate is everything there is going to the municipal building.
Mm-hmm.
The patrol car is not part of the municipal building.
Right.
So that's why I didn't think it was a good idea to include that in USDA, only because it runs us the risk of USDA kicking it back and saying, we're not going to fund the car.
Okay.
Now, I do think, we have a really good chance at getting the phone system, the IT services, all that stuff, and I think we could get it, on a 10-year loan, which makes it, pretty manageable for us.
Right.
I know USDA has funded fire stations and other projects for 30 years. That's not uncommon. I don't want to take a 30-year loan on a telephone system that's going to last 10 years.
Right.
So I think if we did 10 years, we'd be in good shape. So at this time, what we'll do is inform the chief that we're going to look at 2 more financing options, and that at the March meeting, we would like him to explain what is coming in this patrol car in terms of the equipment. Is everyone okay with that?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, so the next item we've kind of touched on, and I don't know that I have anything more to, I can tell you the generator kind of surprised me. That came in at almost $70,000. But I only have one price, and I'm waiting to get another price on Winters generator. The radio tower came in, that shocked me. That was $9,000 for the tower, which I thought was a pretty good price there. Todd came back with a proposal for security cameras and alarms from CIA of $39,000, which, just looking at it, it looks like CIA, it looks like you're trying to get into the CIA with some of the hardware that we're buying. I think it's a little overkill for a municipal building, at least on the administrative floor. I know the police want more security, but I think we need cameras, but we don't need automatic door locks and intercoms and all that stuff on the administrative level. We also are waiting for a price back from Curb Tech, and we're waiting from Hilton's to get us a price on the alarms. I know a lot of townships around here, North Newton, North Middleton, use Perry Yingling from Hilton's and are really pleased. West Pennsboro has a system in their park that he installed, and I know they're pleased with it. So I'd like to see something back from Perry Yingling before we make a decision there. IT services, Curb Tech has the best proposal there. It's around $10,000. The telephone system, I think, is around $9,000, and that was also a Curb Tech system. But our controller brought to my attention today, we had, as you know, we have a CenturyLink system in our office, and we're kind of not using CenturyLink anymore. We're using Comcast for all of our security cameras, internet, and telephone at the borough office. So basically, something happened to our system in the borough office about the time Tucky was working in the office. They had power off and so forth, and we lost our voicemail system. So we purchased just a regular telephone answering machine to fix that. But Cheryl came to me today and she said, "Are you aware that Comcast sells telephones?" And I said, "Yes. As a matter of fact, I was at their store looking at them as part of the new municipal building project." And she brought up, she said, we could package our telephones, our internet, our cable TV, everything at the municipal building for one price and get one bill rather than, multiple bills. And she mentioned, another party that had done that and they really saved some money. And I said, hey, look into it. I think it's a good idea. And, whatever, if we were to do that now and save some money, we could always move those phones to the new municipal building. We're not going to have any more phones in the new municipal building than we have in the current one. So that's something that we're looking into to see, and we're going to start on that this week. So I'll have more information next month. Any questions?
Nope.
No.
Okay. Bear with me because I'm not at a desk. I'm working out of a recliner chair.
So am I, Fred. But I'm not laying back.
Well, this one has really good back support, and if you cough or sneeze, it kind of takes the pain out of your ribs. So I love sitting in this chair. That's why I decided to sit at home tonight. So on our list of bills, Higher Information Group is the service contract for the printers, and this contract keeps us in ink and service. If a printer should break down, they come in and work on it, repair it, whatever needs to be done. They provide us with all the ink cartridges. And there are 3 printers covered, $315.50. Irwin and McKnight, PC, EDA solicitor. This is on the general fund list of bills, but I'm going to report later on that we do have a checking account set up for EDA. I did talk to Andrea Green, and she told me that submit this bill and they will pay it with their funds. So it was on our list. Now that they have their account, they can take care of everything. So from here on out, EDA is going to be paying for Chris Galata, Marcus McKnight, and Tim Cormany. Our next bill is from Irwin and McKnight, and it's $952.50 for Borough Solicitor Services in January. Pennsylvania Code Alliance, this is their last bill for code enforcement and zoning, $810. We did make contact with them, Scott, and advised them that with our tax money and with the money that we've taken in from the rental inspection program, that we will pay our bill off and be all up to date in the month of March. And they were okay with that.
Good.
Boston Mutual is our disability and life insurance, and that's for 1 month, $413.61. Higher Information Group is our copy surcharges, $105. JGF funding is the lease of the borough copier and the police copier, $269. Martin & Martin, also this will be paid out of EDA. Their bill for the month was $168. Coe's Oil Service, number 2 fuel oil delivered to the police station, $453.26. If anybody's looking at this, they're going to say, well, we just paid Coe's a bill and now we got another whopper. Well, there are 2 tanks up there in the police station. They run in tandem, and the line between the tanks blocked. So Coe's had been filling one tank. It wasn't filling into the other one. And Mr. Swartz replaced the line, and then we filled. So we now have 2 tanks completely full of fuel oil. Brown & Brown of the Lehigh Valley is Jody's Bond, $250. Sentinel, some legal notices for ordinances, $339.68. Cumberland Tree Service was the tree trimming work that was done in January, $3,110. Ed Mill Fuels, DPW fuel for January, $156.20. Newville Print Shop, no parking signs for snow removal, $95. Sailors Market, cleaning supplies and water for the borough office, $158.15. Coe's Oil fuel tank for the skid loader and backhoe at the garage. They basically fill this once a year, $414.09. And Cumberland County Assessment Office was the printing of our occupation bills and notices, $10.43. Total bills, $8,260.42. We had one repair bill for the backhoe at Oak Ridge Equipment from Highway Aid, $1,124.17. They repaired the brakes. Any questions on the bills?
No.
Nope.
I would like to tell you that the Cumberland County Assessment Office has been very good in furnishing all the data for the occupational taxes. They've done this despite the fact that I think we might be the last or one of the last. I think Camp Hill still has this tax. But there are not too many municipalities that levy the occupational tax. We had been using a company over in Lancaster to print our tax bills. And our tax collector, Jerry Ann Spangler, received a notice that they are not able to print the bills for us because they had one person who was able to take this data and convert it and make the bills. And that person, due to COVID-19, was furloughed and won't be coming back. So I'm going to have to try to find another company that can take this data and print it for us, print these bills. I'm going to reach out to the G.H. Harris Company up in Dallas because I know that they do all sorts of tax collection and see if they can help us. And I'm also going to talk to Robin Weigel down at the assessment office to see if she knows of anyone else that can print the bills. But I'll tell you, there aren't many people that print these tax bills anymore just because, you know, this occupational tax is not assessed.
What do we bring in from that, Fred?
Well, that's another thing. Jerry Ann pointed out the total levy is just about $8,000, and we take in about $3,000. We end up sending off $4,000 or $5,000 to the delinquent tax collector. And so Jerry Ann questioned, after we pay for the printing of our bills, which is about $1,200,
right,
and the postage and all those things, is this tax really something that, we should be looking at, or I don't know what else we could go back to. I guess I'm not sure if we could do the per capita, go back to a flat per capita tax. I would have to look at what our other options are. The reason the borough had kept this assessment tax is because it was a tax that applied to both residents and renters. And the council felt that, if you were renting here, you weren't paying property tax, but at least you were paying your occupational assessment tax.
Well, in reality, renters are paying a property tax because they're paying the property tax
through their landlord.
Through their landlord, yeah. So
the other option would be, to look at if we could do anything with our other Act 511 taxes, such as the realty transfer tax or the $72 local services tax. But I think those all have limits, and I think we're at our limits on those taxes right now. So this is something that we're going to have to take a little bit stronger look at this year and see what we can do to supplement this income if we cannot get the tax bills printed. If we can find somebody to print the bills, no problem. The funny part about this is when these tax bills go up to G.H. Harris. People pay G.H. Harris, and then they end up paying a penalty, for G.H. Harris's services.
Right.
But when we're done, G.H. Harris ends up collecting just about 85% of the tax. And it's just, you wonder why people just don't pay the borough. And this is one of those taxes that I hear all the time. It's not that people don't want to pay it, or don't have the money to pay it, because it's the most that you would pay is around $49. But they put the bill aside and they lose it. And then they get, a delinquent notice. So I hear that quite often from people that, they just forget to pay it. So that's the list of bills. The Treasurer's report, the general fund balance, $9,490.30. The rental fund checking account at Mid-Penn, $1,372.71. Street lighting account, $606.23. Fire tax, $55,383.10. General expense, $624.26. Newville area events, $5,407.40. The highway aid has a balance of $10,223.86. Payroll checking has $20,959.30. The police department, and the reason that's high is there was one pay very late in the month of January, so I don't think everything get cleared from the account. The police department accounts. The police checking at Belco, $11,465.18. The K-9 account at Belco, $901.20. The auxiliary police account has $201. The police debit card at F&M, $112.63. Can I stop here and ask, just run this by council? I received an email from the chief. He is very close to finalizing the purchase of the new handguns. And from the sale of the existing guns, they think they will cover the cost of the new guns. They will need help with the holsters and also with their ammo pouches. And he will be getting us a price on that. But they're going to be converting from .40 caliber ammunition to 9mm ammunition. And getting ammunition, whether you're a police department or a private citizen, it's in short supply. When it's available, you have to be ready to buy it. And no one will sell it to you on a bill. They're not going to bill us. So the chief asked if we could put $500 into his debit card account at F&M Trust. When he finds the ammunition, he would buy $500 worth of ammunition. So I would like council to consider that, and we would do that next week when our EIT money comes in. Our EIT in March is usually in excess of $20,000, and then we will start having real estate taxes coming in next week as well. And he's also asked for permission to get polo shirts and a shirt for the polo shirt for the code enforcement officer. Now, the polo shirts for the police officers are covered under their contract, so that's something we have to do. So all totaled, the chief is looking for about $900 to be put on to the debit card for those purchases. Is there any objection to that?
I don't have
I
any
don't have any.
objection.
Okay, then next week what I will do when that money comes in is have the controller move $1,000 and notify the chief that it's available to him. The police pension fund account has $361,5507. The non-uniformed has $488,113.91, and that's as of the end of January. I did get a email last week from Evan Dickinson up at Mid-Penn, just checking in to see if we were still interested in their proposal. And I told him yes, that we were forming a committee tonight, and he was happy to hear that. He said if there's anything he could do to help us, to contact him. The other borough accounts, the Joint Veterans Council account has $946.63. Capital improvement has $1,467.25, and our tax anticipation has $989.79. Any questions on the treasurer's report?
I did have one, but did you get the email from Bradley Stauffer about the fire tax? That's not going to be a problem, will it?
Well, here's what I talked to Mike Crouch 2 weeks ago, and we discussed this, and what we would like to do is sit down and talk to the fire company. First of all, see the plans for the truck. We haven't seen anything on this truck. We've heard a lot about it, but we haven't seen anything about it. I received another email today, and Bradley asked, could they use this towards the down payment? The truck will not arrive until sometime later this year. In all of the purchases that we've made for the fire company in the past, we paid the roofer, he put the roof on. We bought the utility truck. I went to Lawrence Chevrolet. I paid Lawrence and saw the truck. The fire company came down, and then they picked the truck up. So I talked to Mike, and Mike is more inclined, and I agree with him. They have money. They bought this. They can make the down payment. When they go down to make their final inspection on the truck, and everything on the truck is right, and if you've ever been involved in any of these truck committees, you go down, you have your final walkthrough inspection.
Right.
If that truck is okay, they can hand carry a check from the borough and pay for it. They can pay the vendor directly. And that is our payment. And I think that's what Mike's going to recommend tonight, that we give them the money when the truck is finished and they're satisfied with it. Because a lot could happen between now and July.
Okay.
In terms of the manufacturer of the truck. Not saying no one is against giving them the money, but since it's tax money and things could go wrong, you don't know what's going to happen, we would pay them when they go down, make their final walkthrough. And then they could, just deduct that from whatever the balance is on the truck.
Okay.
And that's another reason we wanted to talk to them. We were having meetings with a fire company for a time, and then we stopped having those meetings. And this is something that, like Mike said to me, he said, "What's the truck look like?" I said, "I don't know." "Where are they buying it from?" I said, "I heard KME." "What does it do?" I said, I couldn't tell you what's on it, whether it's red or green, or I don't know. So we just thought maybe administration committee or members of council could go up and we could have a meeting and talk to them about this. The other thing that Mike brought up, we had talked to the fire company about that ambulance grant, and they wanted to replace an ambulance, which I think was about 11 years old. But after they get this rescue truck, they have to start, they're probably their next thing is going to be the mini pumper. They're going to have other pieces of apparatus. So for many years, we've talked to the fire company and we've suggested this to them, that if you have something coming up and you want to encumber your fire tax money towards that truck, tell us and we'll encumber it. That way, if citizens come in and say, "Well, where's our tax money going? You're not using it towards anything," we can say, "Well, yes, we are. It's encumbered for a piece of equipment, and here's the request from the fire company."
Okay.
So I know Mike talked a little bit more about that tonight, but just to give you a heads up.
All right.
Anything else on the treasurer's report? Any other questions?
I just have just about the agenda.
Okay.
So what I've added for approval is the Eagle Scout project. I did not put a price with it. We're just approving the install And I put down that the borough will assist with funding as needed. Is that okay?
Right. And I guess, the other thing we should probably add, make it all inclusive, authorize you to sign and to, help them with either the backhoe or the skid loader, because you're going to have to grade that site out and get it prepared, and, we can help them with that. So I guess, Scott, authorize you to sign and assist with site preparation. Now, while we're on that, I had this in mind before and it slipped. I haven't heard anything back from Kevin Yost. So I don't want anyone to think that we've forgotten their request for the clubhouse and the maintenance building.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything either.
But I'm sure it's, the weather and other things that are holding him up.
Yeah. I have down that Zion Lutheran wants to use the community park on Sunday, April the 4th for their Easter worship service. So we have that. Any changes to that, Joey?
No, not as of yet, no.
Okay.
I actually have that in my packet tonight to read as correspondence. So
Okay.
I can read it and we can take care of it right there, Scott. And
Okay.
go ahead with anything else that you may have.
Then I have to deposit $900 into the police debit card account from the general fund.
Yes.
Okay.
Late
Go
today, I emailed everyone an attachment which is from a citizens group that is opposing the sale of the Claremont nursing home. And in their letter, which is 3 pages long, it goes into basically asking council to request the commissioners to delay the purchase and to make more transparent the facts surrounding the sale of the nursing home. So that will be under correspondence.
Okay.
Around 3:30 this afternoon, we checked the box at the building, Scott, and there were no letters. The only letter we received was this one on the Claremont, and we also had a certified letter that came in regarding the conduct of a former employee, and we can discuss that in executive session tonight. Basically, that matter has been taken care of, but we should still discuss it for other reasons. That's about it. I have no emails. Jody, did you have any emails or anything for council tonight? Any calls? I don't know. Is Jody Hoffman still there?
She's there. I muted her because I was getting background noise.
Oh, okay.
Hit your unmute button. Let me try it this way.
There.
There.
Jody, did you have any emails or calls or anything after I left for council to discuss tonight from residents?
No, I did not. No.
I
No,
would
just the typical trash questions. Yeah, the trash has been really bad.
And that brings up a good point, Jody, that council should be aware of. The landfill closed last week for 2 days due to snow. The landfill is now owned by Waste Management. As long as I can remember, through rainstorms and hurricanes and whatever, that landfill has never closed. And that just shocked me that they, with all their heavy equipment that they have on that site, that they couldn't clear the site. And we didn't have, didn't have significant snow. We had 3-4 inches of snow.
Right.
You know, I can see Advanced Disposal not wanting to put their trucks out and delaying, but that just surprised me, and I wonder if that's how things are going to run up there at the landfill now that it's changed hands. That was kind of disappointing to me, that as big as that operation is and as big as waste management is, they don't have equipment to keep the landfill open in just a moderate snowstorm. This seemed odd.
Yeah. I know there's a lot of grumbling about it in town, and there's especially about the recycling end, because we haven't picked up recycling in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So
Well,
Yes.
you know, people are blaming it in Advanced Disposal, and it really was, you know, the landfill closed down. Advanced kept their trucks on the road, as far as I know. They haven't told us of any delays this week, have they, Jody?
Not for you. Now, speaking from where I live, they were delayed this week because my pickup was supposed to be yesterday, but they were here at like 4:45 this morning because they woke me up, but they were out there. No recyclables, but the trash trucks were there.
Oh, I just found some papers. The chief also told me that he had a problem with his server at the police station. And basically
They were
what's
here
happening
at
is with the video
recyclables, but the
cameras, with the body cameras that the officers wear, they're using up a lot of memory. So the server needs to be upgraded. So he has one proposal that he received from Moorfield Communications, and the cost is $1,393. $1,393. The chief doesn't want us to take action on this tonight. He's waiting for a price from CurbTech. As soon as he has that, that might be something we can discuss on Tuesday night next week. Before we sign off, Scott, do you have anything for the agenda next week for work session that you would like to address? I don't have much.
no, I don't think I don't have anything. We won't have an update on the petitioning at that. I mean, I can update on petitioning, but that's about it.
So petition the Moorfield server, and the only item that I know that I have is the bids for North Corporation Street. And Jody, I think you have a number of bids that are out for North Corporation Street.
There's quite a few.
This was the largest number of bidders that we have had for a borough project in many years. And I have to attribute it to Tim Cormany. I think he has done well for us in getting this out to companies. I know Rogel Corporation from over in Harrisburg. They did a lot of work here in the borough, and they're interested. Valley Quarries is interested. Jerry Slusser, who has not been around for years, Jerry came and took out a bid. So hopefully we'll see some pretty good prices on this project.
Good. We probably next week should try to hammer down our Parks and Rec plan for the summer, because we won't meet again until beginning of March or the beginning of April for work session. We'll be getting close, but start to give some guidelines as to where we want to go with it and that kind of stuff.
Well, I think Jody's already working with some folks on concerts. She's had some calls and emails, so I think on the concerts, I can tell you I'm treasurer for a number of churches in the area that have formed a group called FOR Newville, and that basically is going to help pay for the Faith and Fun in the Park program. And we received this year, despite the pandemic, some fairly nice contributions, and have a pretty good fund to help with that program this summer. So I know that, the pastors from the churches in the area are behind it, and I know Pastor Chris Failer's behind it. So that's something that we can certainly count on for Fridays. But I agree. I think we ought to start planning something for the kids.
And Jody, if you are working on concerts, I'll give you the information for the one that we had lined up that we had to cancel last year. So it was Bluegrass, Lycans Valley Bluegrass.
Oh, okay.
I'll send you that information.
Okay.
All
Then
right.
we also have that JCM band from down in Harrisburg that's interested in coming up again to play.
All right. If
That's
that's
all I
it,
have.
then we'll move on to our next meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
See ya.
See ya.